Why do you find me beautiful? I'm ugly, human. The diplomatic quarters aboard the Galactic Harmony were designed for maximum comfort across 17 different species. But Commander Elena Vasquez barely noticed the adaptive atmosphere controls as she reviewed the latest xenobiology reports. 3 months into humanity's first interstellar diplomatic mission, and she still marveled at the diversity of life they'd encountered. A soft chime announced a visitor. The door slid open to reveal Zix Thara, the Vorthak cultural attaché. Her chitinous exoskeleton gleamed dull brown under the corridor lighting, and her forearms moved in the nervous gesture Elena had learned meant uncertainty. The human woman looked up from her tablet and smiled. "Zix, please, come in. I was just reading about Vorthak artistic traditions. Fascinating stuff." The alien woman entered hesitantly, her compound eyes reflecting the room's soft illumination, in thousands of tiny facets. Each step of her 6 legs was carefully measured, as if she were walking on fragile ground. "Commander Vasquez," Zixathera's voice buzzed through her translation device. "I must ask you something that has been troubling me." Elena set down her tablet and gestured to the adaptive seating area. "Of course. What's on your mind?" Zixathera's mandibles clicked, a sign of deep thought among her people. She lowered herself onto the specially designed platform that accommodated her physiology. "It is about what you said yesterday during the cultural exchange presentation." "Oh?" Elena leaned forward, genuinely curious. "What specifically?" "You called our traditional mating dances beautiful. You used the human word for aesthetic appreciation." The alien's secondary arms folded across her thorax. "But I do not understand. By every biological standard, by every measure your species uses to determine beauty, we Vorthak are revolting to humans." Elena's eyebrows rose slightly. This wasn't the conversation she'd expected. "What makes you think that?" "The data is conclusive," Zixathara continued, her voice taking on the formal tone she used when presenting research. "Human beauty standards favor bilateral symmetry, soft curves, specific proportions. We possess none of these. Our exoskeletons are hard, our movements angular. Your pupil dilation patterns show fear responses when first encountering us. Your stress hormones spike. These are documented reactions to what humans classify as ugly or frightening." The human commander was quiet for a moment. Then she did something that always confused the Vorthak. She smiled. Not the formal diplomatic smile she used in official functions, but something softer, more genuine. "Zix, can I tell you about the first time I saw a praying mantis?" The alien's head tilted in confusion. "A what?" "A praying mantis, an insect from Earth about this big." Elena held her hands apart. "Green or brown, triangular head, compound eyes, 6 legs, 4 arms. Actually, a lot like your people now that I think about it. When I was 7, I found one in my grandmother's garden." Zixthera's mandibles clicked impatiently. "I failed to see the relevance." At first, I was terrified. It was so alien, so different from anything I'd seen. But my grandmother, she made me sit there and really watch it. And slowly, I began to see something incredible. The way it moved. Every gesture was deliberate, purposeful. Its head would track movement with this intense focus. When it struck at prey, it was like watching a master swordsman. There was an elegance to its alienness that was breathtaking. Elena leaned back in her chair. That's when I realized that beauty isn't just about familiarity or matching some predetermined pattern. It's about recognizing the perfect adaptation of form to function, the elegance of solutions to complex problems. "But your biological responses are just the starting point," Elena interrupted gently. "Yes, humans have instinctive reactions. But we also have something else, the ability to see beyond those first responses, to recognize beauty in the way your people move like living poetry, each gesture controlled and meaningful, to appreciate How your exoskeletons catch light like living armor, to understand that your compound eyes see spectrums of color we can't even imagine. Zixathara was silent for a long moment. This is not how most species perceive beauty. Maybe not, Elena acknowledged. But humans have always been odd that way. We find beauty in thunderstorms, which are objectively dangerous. We're moved by the sight of mountains, which are just rock formations. We compose music about mathematical sequences and write poetry about the heat death of the universe. The alien's compound eyes seem to focus more intently on the human. You truly meant it? When you called our dances beautiful? Elena's smile widened. I've watched xenobiology videos from dozens of species. I've seen the mating displays of creatures from across the galaxy. But when I watched your people dance, when I saw the way you moved in perfect synchronization, each motion flowing into the next, like music made visible, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever witnessed. Why do you find me beautiful? I'm ugly, human, Zixathara said quietly, the translation device somehow conveying a vulnerability that transcended species barriers. Elena stood and walked over to her alien friend. Because you're not ugly, Zix. You're perfectly, wonderfully, magnificently you. And humans, well, we've always had a talent for seeing beauty where others see only strangeness. She extended her hand in the human gesture of comfort, and after a moment's hesitation, Zixathara reached out with one of her secondary arms, letting their different appendages touch. Perhaps, the Vorthak said slowly, this is why the Council chose humans as galactic ambassadors. Not for your technology or your military might, but for this unique perspective. Elena laughed, a sound that had taken the alien months to associate with joy rather than aggression. Maybe we're just the species crazy enough to find friends in the most unlikely places. Outside the viewport, stars wheeled in their ancient dance, and two very different beings sat in comfortable silence, each seeing beauty through the other's eyes for the first time. In the vast cosmos, it was a small moment, but like all truly beautiful things, it contained within it the seed of something infinite. The galaxy, Elena reflected, was going to be a much more interesting place, with humanity in it.